This episode is sponsored by Moonlight Liquor, located 265 North Moonlight Road, Gardner, Kansas. Open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Moonlight Liquor is the biggest around with a square footage of 10,000 feet. They carry 48 cooler doors full of domestic and imported beer, a huge craft selection, including local breweries, also accessible through the walk-in cooler. They carry a wide selection of domestic and imported wines, including local wineries and an organic and sustainable wine selection. And of course, a massive selection of spirits in the course.
And for you cigar fans, like myself, Moonlight Liquor has a walk-in humidor that carries a nice variety of over 30 cigar brands. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Big Modcast. Mark,
What's up?
how'd you think yesterday went?
What was yesterday?
Remember we did the show.
Oh,
So, how'd you think it went?
it went good.
So we can explain to these guys. So yesterday we had an opportunity, Mark and I. We were invited to the KKFI 90.1 radio station. And we have some friends that do a taste of Tejano, which is Mexican music. It's a Tex-Mex music type of deal. Mm-hmm. And so they have a show every Tuesday night from 7 to 9:30. Mm-hmm. And so we were asked if we'd come on, chat it up a little bit, listen to some music. It was pretty cool. It was a good time. Yep. To the point where they said, hey, if you guys want to come out and do a radio show, play some music. And I was like, you know what? That's the way to do it, because they don't allow the format that we use. We're not allowed to play any music.
Oh,
yes, that was one thing that that was one thing that I wish. I mean, seriously, we could sit here, chat it up, boom, throw on whatever we talk about music, and you can play it. But there's rights. People own the rights to their music, so then we'd have to pay them. Then I get sued. Then we won't do this. It's just. But anyway,
we wouldn't necessarily get sued, but there's issues. Okay. There's issues regarding like copyright issues. So because it's on a radio station, we would be able to, because they own whatever or however they do it, however radio shows do it, where they got to pay someone to play the music, we would then be legally be able to play music. So that's what we were trying to do. I mean, at least once a month or so.
Yeah.
Now that was tough because that was live. That was live on the airwaves this moment versus us in the recording studio. Like right now, I edit everything, so you don't even know. The difference is you're sitting there and you're trying not to cuss, because you cannot cuss on air because you will get fined.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there trying to just word your way around, like you're getting heated in a conversation, but you can't cuss. So, oh man, I got closer a couple times. Yeah,
I did. Yeah, because I was wanting to say just smart ass.
Yeah, you can't even say ass. I mean,
you can't even say the word ass on regular radio. And the guy was talking to me, Tommy Andretti. He was talking, and I said something about I don't know what it was, just being a smart ass, But he didn't say smart ass. He said something else, and I was about to correct him, saying, "No, that's a smart ass." I was like, "Oh shit, I can't do that," So yeah, it was pretty crazy, but it was a good time. It was a real good time. Yeah. But anyway, I think let's get on with the show, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay. I have, ladies and gentlemen, I have two friends of mine that once in a while I'll see them, I'll talk to them, I'll text them, Instagram, and it's really, really, really good seeing you guys. I think the last time I seen you two together was probably at Harmon. So yeah, so it's been a while, and for me that's been 33 years or so. For me, yeah. So you guys are about 30 years from school.
I correct you. Last time me and you seen each other.
Okay, you're right.
Your son.
Okay, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we will get to that. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, my buddies, my pals, Darryl Stewart and Marlon Kerr. Gentlemen, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
yes.
I appreciate you guys coming in. Like I said, it's we see each other once in a while, but yeah, Coach Kerr, yeah, I'm gonna call you Coach because that's what I started calling you, Coach. when you were coaching my son, and
Yes.
you know, but yeah, those are some good times.
Good memories. Great
Yeah.
memories.
Yeah, so
Long time ago, man. I feel old. I mean, if you guys feel old, I feel old too.
I know. And after you pulled that picture out a little bit ago, I was like, yeah, I remember that day.
That was pre-beard and everything, man.
Yes.
You still look like a ass face is what I should say.
Jeez. Is that what you wanted to say last night on that?
Yeah, I should have said that.
God.
But how you guys doing?
Blessed, man.
Yeah, everything good?
Can't complain. I woke up.
All right, are you guys familiar with podcasting? You guys much watch, listen?
I didn't seen it. Watched
Yeah.
some of it.
Yeah, but I mean, like any others out there? Do you guys even have time to sit and watch a podcast?
Yes, I've sat and watched a podcast. The wife has watched it.
Okay. Oh, you're talking about this one or others?
Others.
Others. Okay.
Yes.
Sweet. Yeah. Like what podcast do you guys listen to? I got to put you on the spot.
NBA and like
Yeah.
the sports, like
Yeah.
KG. You know,
His-
I
oh,
watch
his-
that
his-
yes. So
Have you guys heard of The Pivot?
I seen some
Yeah,
of
it's
it
got-
on Instagram.
Yeah, it's RC. It's Ryan Clark. It's just ex-football players.
Yeah.
You know, Fred Taylor. It is and Shannon Crowder. Those three together are. I mean, they're good. I mean, and they've interviewed from Mike Tyson to Micah Parsons to you know, I can name all the Dallas Cowboys because you know me, right? So but I was just watching one today. They brought in Tracy McGrady.
Okay.
And Tracy McGrady had some great stories because he's talking about Kobe, you know, in this podcast and the things that we went through. And he even said one day that he told his whole team, just get out of my way. Let me and Kobe go at it for a little while because people want to see who was the best out there, you know. And back when those two were on the court, because Kobe did say that the toughest person to guard him was Tracy McGrady, you know.
He was the first one to make Kobe go sideways.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
T-Mac was the first one to do that.
it's crazy. Yeah, and you know, and I can't remember watching any of those games. I'm sure I've seen them, but after watching that today, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back and watch when these two played together. You know?
I tell
I
you
guess
what, back in those days,
Yeah.
it was on VHS. So we used to record those on VHS.
Yeah.
And I had a Sony VHS.
Okay.
And we would Friday just go back and watch all the games. Mike, Kobe,
Yeah.
Shaq. I mean, it was just, that's what our time was back
Right.
then. Sony headphone Walkmans, you know,
Yeah.
you know, you just walking around with a Walkman. So one of the things we used to do is do that.
Yeah.
Go back on the VCR.
Yeah,
and
that's
watch that.
that's pretty
Those
cool.
games.
Where are those tapes at now?
I got a VHS I looked at last week.
You literally put it in a VCR and watched it.
I still got it. It's one of our Harmon games.
Are you serious?
Holy cow.
Yeah, but the only bad thing about it is you got to stop, rewind, and if you go too far,
Yeah.
you can't look at it because you got to wait through it to go through that play.
Yeah.
Again, but oh yeah, I keep a lot of them old tapes because that's how we sent tapes to recruiters when we was coming up in high school. So
Really?
that's how coaches got our videos was through VHS.
Yeah.
And that's sad now.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's sad, but that was the time, you know. And you know, I'm sure.
So that's how they did it back then. That's how if you weren't necessarily like one of the top recruiters in the country, if you want to get your looks out there, you had to tape yourself and send it to the coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And a coach would have to sit through basically and watch a whole game, and it's just basically a tape about you.
Wow.
Yeah. So they watched the game, but they just focused on that
They would focus
one
on
player that
one
they were looking at.
player.
And then so nowadays they use Huddle,
Yeah. For
you
sure.
know, so because that's
And you can edit
Yeah.
your highlights out.
Yeah. Cut it
Now,
together.
Cut all the bad.
all the turnovers,
Yes,
you know,
you cut all that
all the fouls. And,
You look like a superstar
Yeah.
right then now.
Well, who was recording for you back in the day? Did you have one of your family members doing it, or was the coach doing it?
No, it was through coaches.
Oh, the coaches. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, they probably prioritized
The
on
managers did it, and I mean, you just would get the tape, and you could transfer it over,
Yeah.
or you can be able to like take it and send it away.
Didn't Jose?
Jose did.
Jose
ours.
did the taping.
Yes.
for us.
One of our managers.
One of our managers.
Jose, was it Zamora?
Short. I think it was him.
It was,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
It was him.
Okay, yeah.
He was our manager. He was our main guy.
Mhm.
So shoes, tape.
Oh, and they would get all that.
We can go to Jose. Like, we can go throughout the coaches and then go to Jose to get that stuff. Because we was players. So we can say, hey, we need this. Don't go through the coach. He don't know what he's talking about.
Dang, we just jumped right into basketball really quick, and I had it down here. But quick story about that is my freshman year, I played freshman ball, and already at that time, Copes and Dirks were already varsity, and it was weird that I ordered my shoes because we were able to order shoes back in the day. Remember, we would order whatever we wanted to wear. I don't know. I think we were all wearing Adidas, but for some reason, I ended up with oh my God, was it Spalding? Maybe Spalding had shoes back then.
Mm-hmm.
Brooks had them.
Brooks, Spalding,
Avis. That's what us Harmon people were. We wore Brooks, Avis, Cons. The weapons was out.
The weapons,
then.
yeah.
With Magic.
Yes,
and
that's
Bird.
right. Yeah.
Yes, and that was Harmon's colors. The
Right.
purple and gold weapons.
Yeah.
When I was at Sligo before I transferred.
Okay.
And then when we got towards our senior year,
Uh-huh.
junior, senior year, we were wearing Nikes for the first time.
Really?
I wore what I wanted to wear.
What's that?
I wore what I wanted to wear. I was wearing Jordan 4s.
And that's the thing, because Copes was wearing, I believe it was a Spalding, because it just so happened that he and I both had the same pair of shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he was like, come up, he said, man, you better make those shoes look good out there on the court. Yeah, I'm on the freshman team, dude. You're up here playing varsity. I'm on the freshman court. Yeah. So I was like, oh, he just intimidated me. I guess I better play my ass off with these shoes. I was like, okay. But anyway, yeah, that's funny. So where did you guys grow up?
Me, myself, I grew up in Wyandotte County.
Okay.
KCK, born and raised. Sligo High School for 2 years. Then I jumped ship, came across that water, and life got great for me.
Nice.
It was great.
Okay, but all right, but before we go there, so like elementary, middle school.
Elementary, I went to Parker. I was a Parker Bulldog, 34th in high school.
Okay,
Then
I'm glad you brought the address out because I was
And
going to ask
then
you where that was.
Went to be a West Buffalo, that brown and gold over there off of like 44.
West. Okay.
And
So West was the Buffaloes?
yes, we was above
The black and
brown
gold. Oh, brown and gold. Brown and gold. You're
Black
right.
and gold was Northwest. Brown and gold was West.
That was middle school.
middle school. And then
I remember going there to play a football game when I was at Argentine. And that was not fun. That was not fun for us. Well, what about you, Stu?
I am originally from Topeka, Kansas.
Okay.
And then we migrated down here to Kansas City, ended up in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up going to Westport my 6th, 7th, 8th, and then halfway my 9th grade year, we transferred back over in Kansas.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up at Harmon. So
what middle school, where'd you go? It was Westport?
Westport.
Westport was the school.
Westport Middle School.
Okay. That was okay, I'm sorry. And then you transferred to Harmon. Then so did you move to the area, or were you one of those guys that's kind of using an address? Or?
No, I actually
Because we can let all that out right now.
I actually lived in the projects, Belrose.
Okay.
That was right across from Rosedale.
Okay.
And we used to catch the bus on the hood. I mean, right at the top of the hill of where Rosedale Park was.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I know
then
exactly.
Belrose is right down from it. The projects right there. So that's where we grew up when I lived here, when I was at Harmon.
There was a pool there, right?
Not a pool.
There wasn't a pool there in Melrose?
No pool there.
Okay.
swamp water.
Yeah. So basically, it was the projects.
Right. Yeah.
There was
just nobody maintained it. It was just.
No, it was just there.
Okay. But it became a swamp.
So,
So there were no gators or anything like that thrown in there that you know of.
Yeah. So actually, when I came to Harmon, like Kerr said, it got greater.
Yeah.
Now, not saying we weren't great at Westport. We were starting our freshman year over at Westport, our 6th, 8th grade year. I got to give kudos to our gym teacher who was teaching us how to jump out the gym. He was a track and football coach.
Oh, okay.
And he was showing us how to prepare before the season. So actually, one of my best sports was track, but Harmon never had a track team.
What? Harmon didn't have a track team when you come to Harmon?
No.
Or they wasn't good.
Wait, okay. So there was a track team, but they weren't good, or there was really no track
There
team?
was really no track team. Because remember, you got to remember some of the great runners back then was Wendell Gaskin, who went to Washington, who ran with Maurice Green and all them.
Yeah.
So when I came over, I was like, man, where's the hurdles? And where's the track team? And there was no track team.
Man.
I thought they had one. I just thought they sucked.
No.
That could have been it.
Think about it. The baseball team,
Yeah.
the football team, and basketball was it. There was no track team.
We was like
we had a track.
Yes, we had
But
a
no
Because you know what? It's
suck.
it's
It was
crazy.
like KU football. They sucked all them years.
Yeah.
Shit changed.
So
Wow. No, I never, because I know we had a track team at Argentine, and yeah, we sucked there too.
We had cross country at Harmon.
yeah,
Yeah, cross
because
country.
remember, Mr. Martin will make us run cross country to get ready for basketball.
So that's the way he prepared you guys.
Oh yeah,
You guys were right.
Cross country. Get
So the
lost and shit. That shit was spraining ankles, running at Wyandotte County Park.
Yeah,
and
right, okay.
falling in ditches and shit. Twisting ankles and
Yeah.
shit. You'd be like, why am I even doing this shit for basketball?
Yeah, there you go.
But be last place, you are never going to qualify for state.
no,
Right.
Shit was not even in our demeanor to do that.
Right, but you guys were able to run all day on basketball though.
I still regret it. Shit sucks.
So is there every time you guys say, you know what, let's run a 3-man weave while might as well out here. Let's just don't let the ball touch the ground. Just run a 3-man weave while you're in cross country.
no.
It was like trying to find each other just to hang out. Shit. Be like, where you at? Okay, we gonna run together. Hell with all these Shawnee Mission schools and shit like that.
Yeah.
We ain't running with them. They do this shit for a living.
No.
We're here for basketball. That's it.
Yeah, man, that's crazy that you say that because now that I think about, and I never thought about track while I was, so I never paid attention. The friends that I hung out with, none of them ran track, you know, and so,
The crazy thing is, when I was at Westport, I was second in the hurdles. I was a high jumper. My highest high jump was like 6'7". So you know, it was just like, man, I was thriving. So when we got back over in Kansas,
yeah,
and my mom was like, "We got to move," and I was like, "Okay." So I just naturally gravitated to basketball because there was no track team.
So back then, was there AAU track field? Nothing like that back then? Because I know it's out there now.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
kids
there, but it didn't come across. So
it was probably in the Johnson County side?
Well,
or
it came
what?
on the Johnson County side, but you had just selected. So you said Wyandotte because Mr. Black, that was one of the teachers and taught track. Renee's people ran track over there because they did cross country AAU with.
Yeah.
So it didn't come across that border because you got to remember to come across 18th Street Expressway, you had to pay toll.
See, we were just talking about this, right?
Remember back then it was called redlining.
Yeah. See,
So a lot of people don't even know the history between Argentine and inner city Wyandotte.
It was segregated.
It was segregated.
all right, break it down. I mean, because
I know. I'm curious because I don't know.
Yeah.
It was you could not go across 18th Street Expressway unless you paid a toll. Toll was like 35 or 25 cents.
So, and that was both ways, headed
That
north
was
and
both
south,
ways to
right?
they had a person sit there in
remember
the middle
that.
of the bridge where what's the middle school? Argentine
Argentine was right there in the corner.
Before you got to go around that circle, you had to pay toll to get over there. It was not because Wyandotte County was considered as ward, your Wyandotte, your Sligo, your Washington,
Turner, yeah.
Turner. But if Harmon was in the district, but you had to pay a toll to come across there. And it was like to flip a quarter in the thing to be able to get across. It wasn't no crossing gate, but you had to pay toll to be able to get around and get in that circle to get off by the Argentine middle school.
Yeah. Interesting. So in all those roads, one of them's still there.
They're all there still.
Yeah.
The circle, to go underneath the bridge. And
because I would walk under that bridge. Because I went to Argentine. I lived on 15th Street and 18th Street, so Argentine was just right there. So I would walk, you
remember, we used to play at the church.
Right
there with the two goals, with the one on the one side and the other one on the other side. Right down by the railroad yard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's different.
History.
Huh. Yeah.
History. There's a lot of rich history.
That's crazy, man.
In Argentina.
Yeah.
And a lot of people forget.
Yeah.
And it needs to be told. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of rich stories. A lot of families moved here because of the railroad district. This was an industrial area here. So a lot of families from all over came here because they were able to get those industrial jobs.
The taco shells that we eat, the Spanish Garden.
The Spanish Garden is there,
Spanish Garden taco sauce. Baby, come on now. That shit right there. I remember that was our chips and salsa back in the day. Mm-hmm. And Mom used to put it in the little container that it came in. That was the only thing you got because it was original and it was over in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's still there. And
it's still there.
I don't know if it's still being ran, but yeah, it's still and what's crazy is my grandmother, my dad's mom, worked there for a little while. You know? Yeah, she was there.
That's where the taco shells was originally from. Come there, it was all real.
Yeah.
The Spanish Garden, all that. Come on now. Watch out. That shit right there. It goes deep. That's the only taco shell I buy when I go in the grocery store.
Yeah. To this day?
To this day.
Yeah.
Still. And then you thought you was really doing shit when you got the hot and they put that word extra hot on the salsa. You was the man. It was like I'm growing up.
Yeah. How could you forget Nympha's?
Yeah, Ninfas is still it's still down. Yeah, and I think that place is still still rolling.
We still go down there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
man, I haven't been there in years, but you guys still hit that spot.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Don Antonio's.
San Antonio. San Antonio's right there. Yeah, right all on Kansas Avenue. Yeah.
Come on. That's all history right there.
Yeah.
History.
Still hitting that spot. Gotcha.
Is that where you guys went after games? You say, all right, let's go get some tacos.
It just depends.
Nah, we used to go to what's the one down there by what's the hardware store? That sits.
That we're on
by the fire station.
The hardware store out by the fire station.
Westlake. No, that's not Westlake.
No, Ace. It wasn't.
No. Mickey's.
Oh, you talking about Mickey's Surplus.
And you had the Mexican food restaurant that was
Jalisco's.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd go there.
I don't know where you're going with that store for a second. Like, why'd you guys go to a hardware store after a game?
Yeah. We used to go down there, baby, because we would go there on game days. Because we had...
Here you go.
Go ahead.
We had a breezy that worked down there.
Okay.
And she went to the school and she would hook us up with tacos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that probably the best thing before it came?
It was game meals.
Game meals. Well, and then when we weren't practicing, we would go walk right down the hill to Silver City, to Derrick Jones or Amari Bush. We'd be over there with them, so that was our area.
Yeah.
Parish House. I can imagine. There was so many games I played at the Parish House in the summertime. There's so much rich history that I could just sit back and talk about. It's just incredible how much basketball, how much tradition in that gym, the Parish House.
Yeah.
Actually brought the community together.
Yep.
Back then. So it's just so much.
Because there was times we couldn't practice in our gym.
Yep.
And we used the Parish House for practice. Mm-hmm. And sweeping the floor because of the dust and trying to get the floor clean. I remember one time Stu almost sprained his ankle. And this is real talk. He used to jump out the gym and the shit was crazy. And you'd be like, the hell are they doing over there on the Missouri side? And he almost sprained his ankle because he jumped so high, and he came down on somebody's foot.
Oh.
And it was like, oh, shit. And we had like games. We had like back-to-back games that week.
Oh, yeah.
We was hoping he wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And this was just practice. He jumping like, shit is ridiculous. And I remember when I first met Stu, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun.
No, you're good. You're good. Go
When
ahead.
I first met Stu, when I heard about him transferring in, because I was a transfer, and they said, oh, yeah, we getting this kid in from Westport. Oh, man, he jumps out the fucking gym.
Yeah.
And he just skies. I remember when I first laid eyes on him and he came into practice. He did a windmill. I said, this motherfucker's not real. Where is he from? This shit is different. I said, and then he came again, did it again. Said, ah. I said, oh, Lord. Yes, this is our year at Harmon, baby. We're running the table.
Yeah.
Pieces and packages was all there.
And what year was that?
That was my 88 year. 88 going into 88 going into 89. And that was my junior year. He was coming in as a sophomore. And I mean, shit was crazy because me being a transfer kid coming in from Sligo, and Harmon used to get ran. I'm going to be honest.
No, yeah, you're
They
right.
used to get the brakes beat off of them. And I remember my pops, he said, hey, you're transferring, you're going to Harmon, because Mr. Martin and my dad went to high school together.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, I never knew that.
He was like, hey, he came to a Sligo game, and he was like, hey, man, why you not playing JV or varsity? And I said, they won't give me the chance. I was the leading scorer on my sophomore team. Freshman, sophomore year. He said, hey, you come over here. You got a spot. Okay. I didn't want to go because I was like, shit, Harmon get the shit beat out of them. Why I want to go over there and get beat? This shit's good over here, Sligo. Favoritism, whatever, high be it.
Yeah.
Go over to Harmon. Shit changed. He said, you would start, whatever. I came in that door. I was the first junior that started varsity with all seniors.
Really?
Yes. I was a junior, started varsity my first year, newcomer of the year, my first year as a junior with all seniors. Then it was like, oh shit, sky's the limit now. Stu coming in, he came in, he was like our 6th, 7th man off the bench. Playing with all seniors, I started, and we had Dirks, we had Winston, we had Benny. I was that 4th man, played 3 positions.
Hey, real quick, I played freshman ball with those guys, and I was the one that stayed back. I said, you know what? You guys do it. I'm gonna watch you
This
guys.
shit looked real, and it was like how you look at your Golden State teams now,
Yeah.
your previous Laker teams that ran the tables. What we had, it was like unstoppable because we could go 8 deep. We had Stu, we had Big Burnside coming in.
And remember, I brought him in from Westport. He
Yes.
came over with me.
Okay, Burnside,
Andre Burnside.
Andre, light skin.
Light skin,
Yeah.
tall, 6'8",
So-
Burnside.
Yeah.
7-footer?
6'8".
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'8".
So, like I had told Stu this a few weeks ago. We were talking about this, and so I'm seeing all these tall guys coming in, and I said Stu came in, and we already had Kerr, and we had Copes, and I was like, man, we gonna do something sweet, Yeah, hey, we got everybody. We got to support the basketball team. Because, I mean, everybody was tall. And they had these nice curls.
Girls for the girls, baby.
Yeah.
It was different. I mean, when you looked at that roster that we had, it was like Dirks at the 1. You had Benny at the 2. You had Winston at the 3. You had me at the 4. You had Copes at the 5. Copes was the leading scorer in the era, in the area, the District 500.
Yeah.
He was knocking down 30, 40 points
40
a game.
Dang.
Dirks was doing the same thing.
What are you guys scoring 100 a game? What's that?
We was putting up numbers.
We was putting up numbers.
Oh my
We was putting
God.
up numbers. I get my 16, 15 in the game. We was good. We had Stu and them coming off the bench. backup, everything. Then we ran into a situation.
Yeah.
Situation. We all had to gather each other, and we lost our star player. So when we lost him, I went to the 5 and the 4. He had to step up. Stu had to step up, and he wasn't like a bench player no more, really. He wasn't sick, man. He's coming in now. He's got to get his feet wet.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask what happened to the?
He got caught with a situation where his neighborhood where he lived in, it was gang violence. And one day we was in gym class, a guy that was in a gang went to the girls' locker room, pulled a gun out, whatever, came back in the locker room, put the gun in the locker. He took the rap because his parents lived in that project scenery.
Yeah.
So he took that rap, and because he didn't want the heat to come to his parents. So he took the fall.
Wow.
Gave it all up. Take it. This kid was getting recruited by every college in the country.
And then, mind you, he went and played
At
Lamar. Then the Timberwolves called him up. Remember the year that San Antonio won the NBA championship with 40 games?
Yes.
And they had an NBA lockout.
A part season.
So he couldn't, because of the NBA lockout, that's the only thing that kept Coates from going to the NBA.
Man.
So we had a star already in Kansas City before his time.
Wow.
He was solid. I mean, you looked at our team because that year we was 7-0.
Coach?
Yes, sir. We was 7-0. We already won league. Then when he got kicked out, we still had to keep it going.
Yeah.
We went to state, everything. First year Harmon been to state since 63.
Dang.
Yeah.
To be a part of that, which a former player, Mark Hines, that played football for the Denver Broncos, that was the last time in 63 they've been to state.
Mark Haynes.
Haynes.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No, you're good.
And that was the last time they've been to state.
So it took him 20 years, huh? Wow.
It was, and then it was just different, man. It was like the camaraderie. And even when I met your dad, like playing ball throughout school, then me and your dad met and played together in the summer. He recruited me. Your dad recruited me to play on their team. And it was funny. I was the first black kid on their squad. And Mario,
because before you, it was me.
Yeah, it was like, and your dad.
Because I was always the dark one.
Your dad.
Other teams used to say, oh, yeah, they got a black kid. He's a guard.
Yeah. And your dad.
I'll be like,
it was like, and I said, and I was.
I know you. Let me say it for you. You're like, how come Mario didn't play with us in Harmon?
Because someone had his number.
That's because Dirks had my number. I told Dirks, I said, dude, I want to play ball, but you wearing 24, Dirks. I can't wear another number. He's like, well, then you can't go to play.
Can't go play.
I said, then okay, you go ahead and do your thing, Dirks.
Let me go back for a second.
Yeah,
I got to say one thing about Coates. When I actually came to Harmon, and I didn't know what to expect. I just knew coming from Westport, we had a great team.
Yeah.
As a freshman, we were sitting varsity over in Westport. All six of us were good. So when I got over to Harmon, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So when we got to practicing and I seen these guys, and then Coates, when he went back, it was crazy. He called me in the hallway. I never knew who he was.
Yeah.
He called me. He said, when we get to practice, I'm going to dunk on you. I said, what'd you say? You going to dunk on who? I said, I bet you I dunk on you.
So
and then the camaraderie started where we would talk crap to each other. To compete before we got to practice. And Coach he takes you to another level. And that's what I always loved about him and Dirks and Kerr and Benny and Winston. They were so mature enough to make the other players get excited and get better. And there was a better feeling with that, even coming from where I was, from Westport. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. You got it better than I got it, because when I transferred in, I'm in the same league with these clowns. So when I transferred in, they said, "What your bitch ass coming over here for? What are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
Because I play a U-ball with them. So it was like, you got to prove yourself, because the only persons I knew when I'm transferred over was Dirks and Copes. So I didn't know nobody. I rode the bus, but I had to get my cred, because you had to prove yourself. Mm-hmm. Coming in there, because that was their turf. You had your what's big boy's name? You had
Burnside.
No, not Burnside. Before them, you had Sean Hall's little brother.
Tony.
You had Tony. You had all Mark Shaw. You had all them guys that was on that Harmon roster, and you were an outsider. You're coming in from a new school. Mm-hmm. So you had to earn your keep. Just like Stu said, you coming in from Westport, baby, you got to earn yours. We heard about you. You can jump out the gym. You can do whatever. But you had to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Because it was the type of school, they had to grab a latch to you, grab a hold of you for them to accept you. That you can hear all the blue blah. Yeah, you did this at the school. You did this, but you coming to our nest now. Mm-hmm. It was different about Harmon.
Yeah.
And take it, I love it to the day I die. I will be that purple and glow till I die, because I got to be myself. I got to be able, different races, to be able to understand, to be able to be a young man, and to grow up, different nationalities to go over. Because at Sligo, in the inner city where I grew up, you only seen one. You only knew of one. You knew half the parents that worked either at Southwestern Bell, AT&T, General Motors. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You didn't know about the families and the struggle that was going on the Argentine side. Mm-hmm. You didn't know really what they was going through until you went through it and walked through them hallways. Now you go through that shit. I remember going through there, the Commons, you had carpet on the floor. Now this shit is all metal and concrete. You'd be like, why? This is not what we grew up to. I learned to be able to accept a person for who they was, nationalities, race, whatever. It gave me a whole new horizon about life, because I never seen that at Sligo, because everything was so stereotyped.
Yeah.
When I went over to Harmon, it was like, oh shit, yeah, this shit's different. When I got accepted and I proved myself, I ain't been myself since. I had to bring the Digital Underground. The Freaks of the Industry came out back then. Yeah.
A little Humpty Hump.
Yeah. I mean, but it taught me, it prepared me for life. Mm-hmm. And that's how I looked at it. I mean, when Stu came in, when I met your dad was always down to earth. When me and him and hoop, and that's where it's so funny, because I was looking for the jersey that me and your dad and them wore, and we was the Jazz. So you're talking about your Kobe's and your Shaq. You talking about your dad being a hard ass on somebody? You think I used to yell at you? Your dad used to yell at my ass. If I didn't play defense, or if he came down, or something happened and I wasn't in the right spot when we played on Ralphie's team, because it was basically your dad's team, because he was our point guard. And then we had Stu played with us a couple times, didn't he?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know, maybe in a tournament?
Yeah, I think down at Guadalupe, I think he played with us down there.
Yeah.
Your dad introduced me to Guadalupe because he played on the same squad.
Which is the gym that you practice with Coach Mike.
And your dad would get on my ass and be like, what the fuck? And he'd be like, you were supposed to be here, and I want you here. I want you here. And I'd be like, okay. And I just a kid with a jerry curl. So it was like...
He's a kid with a jerry curl listening to this little Mexican with a feather do.
Hey, but it was your dad's team. So as you say, as a person Because when your dad recruited me, I was coming in on his territory. It was his team already. Yeah. He's been playing with these guys. He's introducing me because he opened up doors and said, hey, I got this guy we can mess with, and he'll help us. We won some championship. It got so bad, and that's some funny shit. They kicked us out the league, and and your dad can vouch for this. Remember, they started looking for addresses because they said I did not live over in Argentina. Yeah. I could not play on that team no more because we was running the table. Yep. Your dad was like, no, he goes to school at Harmon. They said, we need an address over here.
And then after we did that, then everybody started trying to bring in
other
people.
teams.
You know who I almost want to say, I think Chris Williams, which is Chris Williams, Jameer's dad. Yeah. I think he played down there in Argentina too, because that's where I met him. Because I coached his son. When? Back when we played ball down in Argentina.
It's like 90 something.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Early.
Yeah. So 90s, I was like, where'd he come from? And he was a baller too.
Yeah,
he went to Wyandotte.
He went to Wyandotte. Big C was a big thing at Wyandotte.
So
he went to go play at Pitt State, if I'm not correct.
He played at he left Wyandotte, graduated, and went to Labette. Then he left Labette, and then he went on down to Pitt State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I remember when he stepped in his foot down in Argentine gym, we had Kerr, and all of a sudden he comes in. I was like, oh shit's about to go down now.
Dot on dot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had actually brought that up to Chris when I met him. I mean, I met him through basketball, but then we haven't seen each other in a while. We had kids. I coached his son, Marcus's friend, Jameer. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so then I had to go up to him and said, I know you. He's like, did you play ball? I said, yeah, we played ball against each other down in Argentina. He's like, all right, I remember who you are now. And then he was cool. Then he was like, he was relaxed and he talked to me, and we became friends. But that's I mean, there's
crazy how the thing trickles down in effect, because I know with Stu, when my senior year going into his junior year, that was the second dream team of Harmon, because we had Mark Dirks.
So this was 90.
This was 90.
Okay, no, Dirks is already gone.
Dirks was gone.
Dirks just left.
This was dream team number 2.
So Dirks, here. And then
Dirks and Copes was gone.
Gone, yeah.
So
Benny Winston, myself, Anthony Sanchez, we were all gone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then
so
we're like
Jermaine.
We're like, bye guys, it's your guys' court now.
It's ours now. So you got me a senior. You got Otis as a senior.
That's
Jermaine.
right.
You got
Jermaine Rawlings?
No, Jermaine was a junior. He was with you.
Yeah, that's right.
So you got me. You got James Reed. Mm-hmm. We brought in a lefty.
Yes.
A southpaw that could shoot that thing.
Oh,
from
dude.
Wyandotte. He transferred in from Wyandotte.
So speaking of James Reed, I met him when I used to play basketball at Franklin Center. Mm-hmm. Just a half court. Mm-hmm. And that's when I first said that I've never seen a lefty like. He just shoot that J. Mm-hmm. I mean, he used to shoot it and then walk out of bounds to take it out before the ball even went in. I mean, he was money.
He was beautiful.
And he was fun to watch. And for me to guard him, I mean, he would just laugh at me. Seriously, he was just it was just funny playing against.
He was the second Dirks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when we look back, when he's saying the second dream team, we were already groomed before our time. So when we were able to step up, that's why we were so good.
Yeah. Because he already was on that level.
So he was actually one of the guys why I went down to Cali County Community College, because he was there. He was like, Stu, I don't know what you want to do, but you come. You got me here, and I can help you along with the process. And I was like, at least I have one Kansas City guy I know down in this cow town. I ain't never been here. But he had such of he was like you. He was the leader of the group.
Yeah. And
he knew, this is how smart, when point guards know every piece and every player, they know how to put you in position.
Right.
Put the ball right there where you can score. Put you in a position to score. So it was just awesome. We just sit back and think about the memories. I'm just like, man.
So James, he came into Harmon, of course, after I was gone. So
he came in as a senior.
From Wyandotte.
From Wyandotte. He
Yeah,
came in. Me and him was the two top seniors out of that starting group. Then you had Otis. Then you had who else? That was it. It was all juniors after that.
Really?
It was all Stu. Because our starting lineup was James Reed at the 1, Jermaine at the 2, flip flop every now and then. Then you had me playing the 3. You had Harama. Can't forget Dick.
Yeah.
Harama
Harama
Dickerson.
Harama the warrior. Harama played the 4. And you had Stu.
Remember when he made Sports Illustrated as what, 8th grade?
Yes,
Okay.
He was supposed to be that in football.
I'm gonna give you something else.
Okay.
Remember Deron Cherry?
Yes.
Remember when he used to be the sportcaster for ESPN back then, Kansas City. So when you watch some of the older games, what is that? 68. Not 68.
It would be
38.
Metro Sports.
Metro Sports.
Yeah, Metro Sports.
Deron Cherry. So
Yes.
I remember most of the podcast, he'd be talking about Harama because he loved football.
Yeah.
So he'd be like, hey, the Harama Dickerson.
The Nigerian
warrior.
The next Christian Okoye.
Yeah.
Because how he played football.
Yeah.
He was that guy. I mean, he was that guy in football and basketball. And like I said, our starting lineup was solid. You had Reed at the 1, you had Jermaine, you had me, then you had Harama. Harama was playing the 4. Then you had Burnside or Stu playing the 5. We're starting younger guys with 2 seniors. I mean, it was set. I mean, we was killing people because you didn't know what you was gonna get every night. I mean, shit, if I wasn't being an asshole, you might get what you gonna get from me. So, and it was just, we was like just a group. I mean, we was locked in every night. We bought in to what our coach, to me, considered as the best coach in Wyandotte County, Mr. Richard Martin. Salt, what they called him when my dad and him was in school. Mr. Martin was the best coach. I mean, he was a father figure.
Yes.
He was a mentor. I used to watch this man take our uniforms home every night. And we had a washer and dryer at the school. He would take our uniforms home every night in a black plastic trashed bag, take them home and wash them every night.
Remember Ryan brought that up to us because he loved us so much. Who is his son, Mr. Martin's son, who went on to play, and he's a coach as well. He would tell us, he would remind us how much he wanted to just be at practice because he wanted to see us play. He was that excited. Yeah. And he went down to go on and do his thing because we inspired him. Yeah. Also, going back to that, I'm gonna say 2 more things. He spoke life into us. Some of the things that I hold on to that Mr. Martin said were things like, man, y'all better enjoy high school because when you get grown and start having bills and everything, you're going to wish you was back here. You better enjoy every moment in here. You know, he spoke life into us, and I remember him. Can't forget Barry Davies. I remember riding on the back of his truck. He would take us when we could ride on the back of a truck. Yeah, he would take half of the basketball team home because we didn't have cars. We weren't privileged like that. So he would drive us from Harmon, right across 18th Street, and then drop us off in Rosedale or whatever. And, you know, he poured life into us.
We was more family orientated. Mm-hmm. We was a group. You could never break us apart. If something popped off, we had each other's back. It was just the way it was installed in us. It was like family. And it was like you a bond with each other. And Marcos, you should know this. Even in our huddles, we used to have, I wouldn't chat nothing else but say family, because that's what I was installed with. That's what I was taught. It was like he made me do what the things that I'm doing right now.
I was going to ask you if you've kind of like followed his footsteps. He taught you a lot.
He taught me a lot, and he made me want to get back. He also taught me, and I even also learned from playing college ball, it's going to end one day.
Yeah.
So when it ends one day, he used to say to me, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
So I wanted to always come back and get back to the kids, because what he taught me, it was, you're going to teach the game, never belittle nobody, always teach them from your heart. If you give a kid your heart and your passion for it, they will respect it, and they'll give you back something in return.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, that's what I loved about it. And it was like, we was just so, I was looking at a picture. They had us all going up to Circle B one day after school to go get our drinks for a game. We all got on Walkman headsets.
Back when it was the orange.
Yes,
remember it was the orange piece of foam on our ears.
We walking up to Circle B game day. We all hang together. We used to have our spits and our spots and talk trash to each other. But we all, when it was time, when the lights came on, all that shit was to the side. We all about this business right now.
And I was going to say, one of the other greatest things, I can't remember Mr. Richards, I will believe, the band teacher. Yes. We had one of the best bands in the land here in Kansas City at Harmon at that time. Everybody would come to the game to hear what we were going to play at the band. Am I correct on that?
Shit, we used to come out to Freaky Tales. Doom, doo, doom, 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 doo, 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 doo.
Huh.
hey.
But that's how much of a camaraderie we had as just the school itself and the administration. They wanted to see us be that great. We brought something to the table that they had never seen before. So everybody wanted our best.
It's so funny you say that, because I don't know if you guys had seen back, because obviously you guys might have missed it when Harmon did the reunion, a couple months or a month or so back. If that episode, we did a podcast there, and we'd ask people from other classes, and one of their repeating was they loved the band teacher just because, he just left a strong impression on a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me correct something real quick. I was my brain was going, Mr. Daniels.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Because you say, and I knew where you're going, and I was like, it wasn't Richard, it was Daniels. So a lot of my family, they were all band members, and you like you said, they all love, just like you guys love Mr. Martin. Mm-hmm. They all love Mr. Daniels.
Yes, he actually put a lot of the kids at Harmon, in college.
Yeah.
He put more kids in college, probably, than most kids that graduated. Yeah. And back in that time, because he had a lot of connections, but he knew his craft. And even when I graduated, that's all you heard was Mr. Daniels. Yeah. Mr. Daniels, y'all got a great band.
So, and of course, I'm sure people are probably tired of me bringing this up, but our pep song. Dun, 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 dun.
That's what we used to run. Dun, 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 dun. That's what we used to run out to.
Yeah. And and I'm going to ask you guys, because I've asked people that have come in, I said, do you know what that song was originally?
No.
So it was this group called Sun, and they had this, and their song was, it was, golly, and I do this every time. Anyway, I'll play it for you guys after here, because they say we're here, Harmon Hawks, and in their song, it was a little different worded. We're here,
Yeah, we used
Something
to let
son,
everybody
you know.
know we was there.
And that from what I remember, that there was Mr. Daniels, one of his favorite songs from back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So he just changed it up to "We're Here, Harmon Hawks." You know. It would say "We're here, Sun is here."
Okay.
We're here, Sun is here, and that was the name of the group, Sun. So so I'll have to play it for you, and it'll be like, okay, exactly. I don't know if you guys ever knew that. So if you didn't,
No.
you're welcome.
I did. Thank you for the knowledge.
I just knew when that song came out, we was about to come out there and get that ass.
Dude, 'cause, I mean, for real, dude. I mean, because it was da 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 da.
We right out that tunnel. We used to
Hey,
always remember and be like, hey, who gonna run out first?
Yeah, and because you were excited to bust through that paper.
right.
A lot of people don't know that, and we sometimes we would pick and choose
On
who
who's gonna
ran
run
through
out
that
first.
paper. So it was kind of like we were Hollywood. That was our Hollywood moment,
Right.
Because we never got to we can talk about this too.
Yeah.
If you remember back in the day, Slago and Wyandotte, they had nice uniforms, and
Did they?
we were the only team that still had
Mark Haynes's
yes.
uniform.
All that
Yes,
shorts
the
and
Riley.
shit like that, nut huggers.
Yeah.
So they call me Hoochie Daddy shorts now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are now.
We had Hoochie Daddy shorts back
Yeah.
then. That shit was different. And you look at it, like I said, man, I won't change. I would never, ever change none of them memories. Them memories, they'll go with me to my grave.
Yeah.
I've been so blessed. And to be able to come and ride with a lot of brothers, a lot of people
Yeah.
that I can actually say are friends. I won't change that for nothing in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the whole upbringing, changing me to learn different nationalities, learn what they like, learn how. I didn't learn that until when I went to Harmon. And it was like I said, I mean, to the day I die, I believe that purple and gold. Don't feel ashamed of it. Never, ever have nothing bad to say about it. It took care of me. It paid the way, paid for college. It got me in college. And like I said, I got people that I still talk like yourself.
Yeah.
It got me to where I am to today. So it's nothing but blessings. It's nothing but being thankful, humble.
Yeah.
Humble's the best thing. I mean, humble, the words, like I said, me and Stu, we always chop it up. And I used to be like the person, when we used to do the alumni game thing, I will be the person that always would try to get people together. And I mean, just to being able to call them, hey, we're going to try to get together, whatever, go get T-shirts, whatever, to get them together and whatever. It's just being able to have minutes, time with them, live, chop it up, families. And I mean, I don't take none of it for granted, man, because it can come one day and it can be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. And then, like I said, a great thing, I remember when your son was getting ready to be a freshman at North, and I was getting ready to coach my first game, and you sent your son up to me. He said, hey, is your name Marlon Kerr? And I was like, yeah. He said, my dad and you went to school together and played ball together. He told me, come over and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And ever since then, Marco's been there. He was one of my kids I coached. And I say, that's what you love. When a friend, person you can call a friend, a person you know, and you can coach their kid. Sometimes that shit, you be like, damn, I'm old as shit. I'm coaching their kid now. I'm in the game for a long haul.
And I know. And you had, like, again, you had Marcos and you had Jameer.
Yes.
Chris's
I had Chris's son, Jameer. And it was like.
And you also try to get Darryl over there.
Okay, and we gonna talk about that. Yeah,
and I mean, I didn't have
because I was a high recruiter there too. I said, "Come on, coach." I said, "We got to bring Stu's boy over."
And I look at that as if people can trust you with with their kids,
Yeah.
you good. I mean, they know what you're about. They know what you're trying to get out of their kids. And it's more of a, for me, perhaps it's more than basketball because I'm trying to prepare them for the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't get nothing else out of it, but to see them walk across that stage and I'll be like, shit, my old ass did it. They got out of their parents' house.
Right.
Now it's party time, mom and dad.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about the whole situation? I think it's kind of funny. I think there was there was obviously nepotism in that whole situation because I broke my hand freshman year. I broke it in football season. I didn't even try out. I did not even try. I said, "Nah, you good." Like I just came on the team and started playing as soon as like my hand was all good, and that's some clear nepotism.
His dad came up to me. He said, "Hey," he said, "I know y'all got tryouts next week. You know Marcos broke his hand in football." I said, "Yeah, I was at that game." He said, "He good?" I said, "Yeah, he's good." Yeah. Questions, no questions asked. I mean, bro, you ain't even got to ask that question. He broke his hand last week. I seen it. He's good.
He's fan.
You ain't even gotta ask that question. I mean, I'm not gonna shiv him to the left. Yeah. I seen what he did. So hey, he's good. He's like, "Yeah, was you at that game, Kerr?" I said, "Yeah, I was there." He said, "All right, no questions asked."
I'm so upset about that game. That was a JV game. I ran for like a 90-yard touchdown. I got called back, and then I break my hand on like the next play. Yeah. It's terrible.
It's funny about he broke his hand. And of course, me being dad, I'm like, "Son, you'll be fine. Just suck it up." "No, Dad, I think I broke it." I said, Let me see your hand." So I grabbed his hand, and I'm looking at it. I'm like,
I'm watching TV.
and I'm squeezing the shit out of it. And I'm trying to pop it. I'm trying to pop his hand. He drops to his knees like, "Oh!" I'm like, I said, "Okay, I guess it is broke, son." It didn't pop. It did. I think it is broke.
But he played he even played some games with it in the cast.
Yeah, I played a couple with the cast. Yeah,
he played a couple games for me with cast. He was my Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
I can ask him to go in. Fuck a kid up with the cast. We don't know nothing about it, baby. We good.
Concussion.
We don't know. Hit him on the side part of the rib, and we're good. They won't there. He said, "All right, coach, I got you."
Yeah. That was good times. And then I remember I was like, "Oh shit, Coach Kerr, Marlon Kerr, coaching. All right, I like this, And then I would tell Marco stories about us, and when you played ball and when we played ball together, and I'm like, you know what, it's gonna be fun. You're gonna be fine. It's gonna be a good freshman year, And you had a good squad. You did have like 30 kids on your team, though. I never figured out. It was
apparently had 2 teams. I apparently had an A and a B squad.
Apparently, you were not allowed to cut anybody because.
You could not cut.
He had kids on the bench that didn't have jerseys, had shorts, didn't have a jersey.
And some had, "Hey, you foul out. He gets your jersey, and he go back in, but we got his name in the book."
Yeah, and
there's literally 30
Coach Kerr had his tape. Okay, we got to make this 9 look like an 8.
Yeah. It was 30 kids. You could not. I had an A and a B squad. That was the difference from the Johnson County schools and the Wyandotte County schools because they only had an A squad. Yeah, because half the kids couldn't stay eligible. So you go to Shawnee Mission, you had an A and a B, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And it's like, "How are you coaching so many kids?" I said, "If you come to one of my practice, you'll see how this shit works.
Yeah.
Because either they're throwing up in the trash can or their ass is on the line and they're figuring it out." I had no problem.
Nah, there was a solid stance every time. Like we be running, we're all gassed, and we're looking at coach, and he's over here. He's like, "Baseline." I'm like, "Fuck!" We all got right back to the line. Problems we were waiting on one of the other kids who just couldn't make it. That's the team part.
It was very conditioned.
Yeah,
it was.
There's a lot of running.
Shit. It was a lot of running, and I used to put a trash can on the side of each baseline.
And people
You're gonna Chuck, don't throw up on my floor. Throw up in that trash can, and they would throw up in that trash can. Be like, "Hey,
yeah." Going back to high school. What kind of memories let's put basketball aside. Any good memories up at Harmon? Favorite teacher?
Mr. Martin was my favorite teacher.
Favorite class?
Skipping school. Especially on game days. Shit.
I'll tell you, for me, I would a woman that kept me
Oh,
on point.
I said, damn.
Miss Geraldine Moore in the front office. She was the secretary.
Okay.
Geraldine Moore. And her husband, they will always come to the games.
Okay.
And
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
and you know, when I look at Harmon, coming from Westport, it was it was different because over there, I seen more crime. It was bad. My first year, the 8th grade, a guy came in and shot a guy right in his head in the classroom.
No.
So to come back over in Kansas, I knew if things were going to be calmer. Yeah, it was rough back then. And, you know, that's when they had gangs.
Yeah.
You had the West Side. You had 31st Street. You know, you had a lot of gangs. And when I came back to Harmon, things were calmer. So for me, it was just cool to walk the halls, you know, look around and just be normal. So for me, it was more of a normal situation.
Shit, it was cool for me when I transferred. I was game. I was like, oh, this is the school here. This is different than Sligo.
Yeah.
They're giving it up over here.
That's funny.
It was, I think my best was Miss Whiteside, the counselor that we had. Venadal was my guy.
Mr. Venadal?
Mr. Venadal. Mr. V was the man. Couldn't stand Chester.
What about Mr. Pittman?
That's what he said. He couldn't stand Chester.
No. Okay. And then Mr. Hodges. Mr. Hodges.
I didn't really deal with him that much.
Okay.
Yeah, because Mr. Hodges had a lot of love.
A lot of love.
Football
players.
and
he got a lot of love from them.
yeah.
You're forgetting about the other coach that
Mr. Bowden.
Mr. Bowden.
Mr. Bowden's cool. I was cool with him, but I didn't want his ass yelling at me. That motherfucker was too big and cocky. And that's when wrestling was in there.
Yeah. He was a football player.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, he was a Dallas Cowboy. He played for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Dang, I need up back in Kansas.
Yeah,
my
teaching job.
It was Venadal. He kept me out
Mr.
of
V.
Mr. V kept me out of a lot of trouble. Miss Whiteside kept me out of a lot of trouble, and then she helped me do my recruiting stuff for college.
Cool.
And tell me what I needed to take for ACTs to be able to prepare.
Yeah.
And Mr. Martin. I mean, Miss Hunt, she was okay as an English teacher. She used to get mad because I cracked jokes and shit in her class. Otherwise than that, it was Mr. Martin. That was my guy.
Yeah, because Mr.
He
Martin.
was American government. He was a basketball coach. So
And he spoke life into us.
Yes.
You know, back then, the male presence was something. A black male presence was something. Some of us didn't have fathers.
Okay.
So he kind of kept the glue together.
Yeah.
This is what we do. This is family. Yeah. You better get your butt in that classroom. You better be at practice on time.
Yeah.
And we're going to learn how to play and love on each other. I mean, he just kept the glue. Did he not, Marlon?
You know, and you know what? And that was and he was like that with everyone.
Yeah.
yes.
Of course, you know, he had his basketball players like you guys, you know. Mm-hmm. I had him in class and he would ask me, he would say, hey now. Remember that, right?
Hey now. What's going on now?
Hey now.
And get lower than the clipboard. You better be lower than this clipboard.
Yeah. Hey now. How's
everything?
How's everything going? Everything good? Everything's good, Mr. Martin. You know, so he was cool with all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
He did not.
And I used to say, Mr. Martin, I want to play ball. Hey now, stick to art. Stick to your art. You know, I hear you good. Miss Horner loves you. Stick to your art. You want to play ball? Go see Mr. Bibbs. You know, you could play for him. Mr. Bibbs was the girls' coach. Come on. Okay, all right, Mr. Martin. I'll be the manager. Hell, I was the volleyball manager. So
God rest his soul too, because he was also a mentor too.
Yes.
You know, especially being the gym teacher.
Yeah.
You know, we would go in there and he'd be like, hey, y'all need to shoot. So you'd be
Oh yeah?
I remember that. Sometimes I would play. I would go hard.
Yeah.
I remember one time we were in gym and I was just going hard and I sprained my ankle.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bibbs said, I knew I should have said something to you.
Yeah.
You should have sat down. And long story short, I still played.
Yeah.
We taped that joker up. You know how we used to do back in the day. You slap those two ankles.
yes.
That
brace.
brace. And you wrap it up with tape. He went out and played.
Yeah.
Shit, that was my alibi to get out of going to algebra class. I'd be like, hey, we got a game today. I need to skip class. I need to go shoot.
See?
I would skip
Okay.
because Mr. Bibbs and
Mr.
Mr. Bibbs and Mr. Davies was a gym teacher.
Yep.
I remember my algebra teacher, my mom came up to the school and she was like, hey, where was you at for 21 days? Why did you miss 21 days in class? I said, Mom, shit, we had basketball. And she was like, y'all didn't never go out of town that much for 21 days. I said, but I had to get my shot on. Mm-hmm. And my teacher told on me, and they had a play in Kansas City that time called Mama Don't. And my friends would draw a picture of my mom beat me in the classroom.
Oh my God.
With an umbrella.
In Mr. Martin's class.
Yes. And I'm like, what the hell? And so I would skip class just to go get extra shots. But we had gym teachers, Mr. Bibbs and Mr. Davies. They would let us just, we would call it like a hangout social. Mm-hmm. So you didn't have to go to class. If you was an athlete, you can go in there and chill out. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, hey, I need to come. We playing Washington tonight. They beat such and such last week. I need to get enough shots up so I can be on fire tonight. They'd be like, all right, you skip class, you shoot. So I would hide out in the gym more than anything. Like he said, Mr. Biz was like, and he was the girls' coach. He was just a mentor.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a mentor too. Davies was cool. And it was like, you would go and say, hey, I don't feel good. They ate the school lunch. But you go to the gym.
Yeah.
Just to kick it, relax, get shots up.
Okay, so here's the thing about that. Okay, my dad would go on and on about these stories. Like it seemed like he was never in class because all he was doing was in the basketball gym.
Yes.
The difference is they were playing. You were just skipping and going to play basketball.
But the best days to skip was when they had the volleyball court, the nets up, and play volleyball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you could go in and play volleyball. Mm-hmm. And you'll be like, fuck class, I got to go to the gym. Because I know the certain hours that the girls that was in there that was worth something, you'd be like, oh, fuck this. I ain't going to class. I'm going in the gym. Mm-hmm. Yep. And your favorite excuse was, I got to get shots up. And then when you have a badass shooting night, you're like, what the fuck? Where did it all go? Mm-hmm. Shit, you left that shit in gym class.
See, and that's what I used to tell Miss Horner. I'd finish my art project and I'm like, can I go to the gym? What do you got to work on? I got to work on my shot too. I wouldn't even play ball. I would just go over there and play some basketball.
I'm trying to get a scholarship.
And Mr. Bibbs was like, what are you doing in here? He said, you need to. I said, Miss Horner said it was cool. He's like, all right.
Yeah,
you're good.
they would
If
never.
Miss Horner says
Teachers did not give a shit.
Oh, no. If they mess with you and they was cool with you, they did not care. If you wasn't coming in that class destroying it, being
disruptive,
they was like, oh, we're cool with you. Mm-hmm. I mean, they knew what you was doing.
And I mean, how sweaty were we when we would go to our next class?
Oh my God!
I like I've told this story before. I went to, I don't know if it was government or Mr. Amy would see me come in. You remember Mr. Amy, the government?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hello, class. He'd see me. He'd say, Garcia, why are you sweating? Like, I just got out of gym. Go get you some paper towels. Go get, God rest his soul. He just passed away too. Mr. Amy did.
Okay.
Yeah. And, he was, and I would be sweating like crazy. Just, we all did that, Yeah. And if, we had our jeans.
No.
I know.
No.
We'd wear our shorts and then we put our jeans right over our shorts.
Back then it was baggy. Remember?
Yes.
We had baggy outfits.
Go ahead. No, you're good. Yeah.
So,
hold on, Kerr. Hold on. You got your headphones.
I'm going to the toilet with them.
And back then, we were basically in survival mode.
Yeah.
We had showers.
Yeah, we did.
But really,
Who shoe showers at a school?
right.
Yeah.
So unless we were away games and we had our clean clothes on, we do it then. But back then it was I'm home.
Yeah,
I gotta get my game on. It was all about being in the moment.
Yeah.
So I look back and think about all the players that I was able to play with, the Anthony Peelers, Tyrone Lue, and all those guys. I just look back and just say, man, how much talent has came out of Kansas City unnoticed.
Right.
People before their time. I mean, you've had your players come out. A couple went to KU. A couple went to the NBA.
Yeah.
But there is a section back in the late 80s and 90s era that could have went on to play if the recruiting here was like it was elsewhere. So when you go to the Texases and the Floridas and all these other schools, they would have recognized the talent that we had back then way before its time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about AAU ball and what it was, we were before our time. Because then you were able to expand on the talent that was around all over. So imagine if we got a chance to play on an AAU team, which I did.
Did you?
A lot of people, I know Kerr will remember this name. He was another guy that advocated for all the basketball players, and he was also a Big 12 ref. And I called him my stepfather. His name was Bill Summers, Pee Wee. He used to coach, and he used to run an AAU team. But he coached all the Big 12 games, and him and his wife. He refed. And he would come back and get all the inner city kids. And we'll be up at William Jewell. We'll go to other colleges and play because he wanted to get us noticed. He was like, they're not doing enough for the inner city kids to get noticed, and there's so much talent. I forgot about Pee Wee. Yeah, Pee Wee was advocate. He was big time in Kansas City. And he had a lot of notoriety outside of Kansas City because he was a Big 12 ref.
Really?
Yes.
It's interesting, yeah.
So that's why I said I was talking about all the talent that has come through Kansas City. If we had been in a Texas or a California and
gotten the proper looks that you probably deserved,
and got able to get with the right people, Kansas City would have been another hub. There would have been more talent coming out here.
It was just a notoriety and just a situation where inner city kids in the Wyandotte County area didn't really get no looks.
Right.
And that because even to this day, everything goes to the suburbs.
Yeah.
And it was just, if you was be able to gravitate towards somebody that could put you out there, so be it. The way the AAU market is so much dynamic now. I mean, you got a kid from here from Texas. You got a kid here from LA. Well, we can get on Snapchat. We can get on Instagram. And we can talk to each other. And we can say, hey, we're going to club out and go to the same school.
Yep.
Now, I mean, you just look back then, we didn't have that. And it was big, but it's bigger now. Mm-hmm. So
the form of communication is just so much easier. Like you can see everything instantly.
You can see it, and then it's just being able to get these kids looked at, and everybody. It's just, it's scary. Like,
I'll tell you a similar situation, or exactly what he's talking about. We all know Greg Gurley, who went to KU.
Yeah.
Okay.
A shooter, right?
A shooter.
Yeah.
So when we had our senior year,
he was the white Larry Bird.
Yes, he was.
God.
And we used to put it to him.
The white,
but he remembered how much talent was in KCK. Yeah. So what he did was he said,
"Where did Gregory come out of?
Shawnee Mission South.
South.
So he was like, "Hey, I want to help showcase some of the talent." So we had a dunk contest over at Shawnee Mission South. So Roy Williams was there. You had a lot of KU players, and me and Demetrius.
What year was this? I'm sorry.
I would say
91.
that been 91.
Okay.
So he was just like, man, you guys, I would talk to him every now and then. He was like, man, there's so much talent over there that goes unnoticed. So he said, hey, we're going to have this dunk contest. I want you and Demetrius Floyd to come over and do and be in the dunk contest. So you had Missouri Cats, you had the Kansas Cats.
Because it was a show me game.
It was a
Kansas against Missouri.
Yes. And I ended up winning that dunk contest.
Did you?
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
What'd you get out of it?
Oh, I got a big trophy.
You still have it?
No, I don't. I left a lot of my trophies over my mom's house, and over the years, I had so many trophies. I for dunk contest just alone.
Yeah.
I remember playing for General Motors. We went down to Chihuahua, Mexico.
No.
The guy named Raul Garcia, who had the Mexican radio station here.
Okay.
He also worked at General Motors.
Yeah.
So he was running for mayor back in Chihuahua. So he said, hey, I want to go back and take a team from Kansas City, which we had at General Motors, down and play a benefit game. So they got a bunch of college kids together to play us. And I ended up winning the dunk contest down there. And
that's cool.
So remember the corporate challenge. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen that basketball has enlightened me with. I've been in a lot of places through hoop dreams, you know.
Yeah.
But one of the things I didn't, I'm getting back to Greg Gurley, there was so much talent that went unnoticed because it was never got exposed.
Yeah, because it was all on this side.
Yeah.
Johnson
County side. But he was an advocate. He was like, man, there's no way. Even when we went to state.
Gurley was, I mean, I caught a lot of them jump shots in my eye. I mean, because he could shoot that thing. And that was the first guy I ever played against. And like I said, considered to me as Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Because I was like, God damn, this motherfucker right here, he's real.
Mm-hmm.
And he, I mean, credit is due. He gave me the business. And I mean, it is what it was. But you never, Wyandotte County kids never got to get that exposure. Just because the simple fact was you was low income homes. They didn't really come and recruit you. The first one that I remember in my era that maybe went, you had Earl Watson. And the reason why Earl Watson actually went was because he played on Myron Piggy's team, and Myron Piggy was the one that got caught for embezzling, paying coaches off, and doing everything like that. Mm. So, because they had an AAU team that had Corey Maggette, that they had like every cat that they had on their squad was Division I.
Yeah.
And they was paying teams off to like sign these kids. So you had the Rush brothers, Kareem, and all them.
I forgot about this guy.
So you had them, and because he was second coming from on the Missouri side or the Westport side, besides the Rush brothers, because you had one going to Pembroke, you had one going where he came from, that ended up playing at KU. And got in the league. So,
and the other one played at Missouri.
The other one played at Missouri. He was the southpaw that played at Pembroke.
Okay.
So all them was all Corey Maggette. You had all of them all on that AAU team. Man, that was stacked. So you Earl, you had Chris Weems that came out of Sligo that ended up going to Stanford. These guys was later on down after me. And so out of that 90 era, you had your Jabos, like close to Stu's in them era, that 94, 95 era. And it was just different. It was just a different era, different time. Recruiting was really, it was more looks out here in the suburb area. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, you don't take nothing for granted because, shit, I can name 5 cats off right at the top of my hand out of the Wyandotte County area should have made it to the league. Damn. But you had of situations that either family, drugs, growing up situations. Yeah. And, I mean, you will always hear the story about them cats. Grades, didn't want to go to school. So, I mean, and we used to always compare it on the Kansas side to the Missouri side, was the Kansas kids were more fundamental.
Yes.
The Missouri kids could jump out the gym.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's no bad talk on Stu, but you considered the Missouri cats as they wasn't smart, they wasn't fundamentally, they could just jump.
Yeah.
Wyandotte County cats was, we fundamentally sound. We can do what we can do. We play that game. Like you consider New York cats. New York is crafty with the ball. They all that fancy shit. I mean, so that's how it was compared to the Missouri and the Kansas. So you had your stars, but you get them breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the difference between Missouri and Kansas too was, if you think about it, back in that time, there were more coaches in Kansas that knew how to coach ball.
Now you got a motherfucker teaching gym, play intramural in middle school, and he don't know shit about basketball.
So
trying to be a head coach.
So when I came from Missouri, I can say that the coach there was good, and the gym coach was good too.
Yeah.
But most coaches, you just didn't have that. Think about Randy Springs. Think about Wyandottes coach at that time. How many kids that could have potentially went on? I mean, but let's be real. Let's go back to how many
you
kids.
will never have another coach out of Wyandotte County will be a legend.
Yes.
You will not. And I'll put that on. I stamp that one. Right now, to this day, you will never, ever have a Wyandotte County coach be a legend like a Springs, like a Richard Martin, like
Sumner's coach.
That's Springs.
So, yeah. Okay, now I know who you're talking about.
He's coached around and been to all the schools too.
He was at Wyandotte. Then he went to Sumner.
And if I go back and talk to some of the older, my elders, I'll say elders, they probably tell me more.
Do you guys remember Mr. Sparkman?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Sparkman.
Mr. Sparkman at Washington.
Look, he lives out in my old neighborhood.
Is he really?
Yes.
Yes.
I was just at a funeral.
So
with
you
him.
look at them coaches, because you had a Springs over at Wyandotte. You had a Martin at Harmon.
Was it Sparkman
Sparkman was at Washington.
At Washington.
So you had three coaches right there in the District 500.
Yeah.
Oh shit. It's a battle. It's coaching against coaching that night.
Yeah.
If they matched up on the floor, if you wasn't in the game by 4:00 from the freshman game to get in the JV game, you wasn't getting
in. That's how fun it was. So when I say each school in Kansas City back in high school represented. And Marlon can so as players, we would call and talk trash on each other before we played or whenever we seen each other. So that made it even better.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean call? You literally called the other team? Or?
You would call the other guys.
So some of the guys.
So other guys from other schools.
Remember we played AAU ball.
Okay, so everybody knew each other.
We knew what parks to play at. Let's go back to some of the parks that we played in. That they don't play in parks no more. That made us grown. We played with grown men that you had to.
Your Kensington.
Yep.
Your
I had a tough time at Kensington. I mean, I wasn't the baller, but I went in that gym and I got ran out of that gym.
You had your Kensington. You had your
JFK.
JFK.
Kensington.
Kensington. JFK. You had Clam Park.
Yeah.
You had. I mean, what the difference was, if we knew it was ballers over in that area,
right?
Yeah.
You would go over there just to see if you can hang and compete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You would ride your bike, and because everything was in a circle where you could be able to bike it. You didn't need a car, but then when you wanted to upgrade your horizon,
you go pay that toll, then you can get over.
You would go able to go.
Yeah.
You'll be able to go on the Missouri side to see what it was. I mean, it was just. Basketball was a different outlet for us back then.
Yeah. It was a segue to get away.
Away.
So No, my fault, Kerr. Go ahead. I was going to say it was a segue to get away. So being in the projects, you had shooting killings. You had people it was a poverty spot. So the only time when I first got over to Kansas, the apartments up from Rosedale Middle School. Yeah. That park, the apartments there, Spring. I would go to that park just to get out the neighborhood and go play ball. Yeah. Because that was my only peace. Because when I got home, my brothers and sisters, I'm cleaning the house. You go back to the norm. I got homework and I needed peace. That was my peace. Yep. So that was our outlet. We played because that was our peace.
I hear you.
That was our fun.
And and I would do the same. I love playing basketball. I knew I wasn't going to go college or play even high school. I played, like I tell the story, I played my freshman year and I played with Winston and Benny and Anthony Sanchez. And we had a good solid squad. Yeah. And these guys that come over from Rosedale, Then my sophomore year, I played ball. And then we ended up, that season ended up so short because Coach pulls us. I can't remember who Coach pulls us in and says, "Sorry guys, but apparently 5 or 6 of you guys are ineligible, and we're gonna just have to. The sophomore team's done." And so there was still 4 or 5 of us that were like, "Sweet, maybe we'll get the suit up JV." And that didn't happen either. I didn't get the suit of JV. So and it was all good. Whatever. I wasn't good enough to play JV, but Franklin Center is where it was just over street from me, and that's where everybody played ball. That's where I met Derek Jones. That's where I met Big Country, right? And earlier we were talking a little story about Big Country, and I'll let you guys in on the story. I would sit there and watch. So I was the Mexican. Big Country would send me, we need the Mexican, All right, I'm playing ball. I'm playing. James Reed was out there with us, the lefty. And when those two were on the same team, oh shit, you know where I'm going with this. It's just it was fun watching those two play together. I was on their team and I wouldn't touch the ball for about 15 minutes. I could watch them play,
You go over, take a break, sit down.
Yeah, long story short, that'd be probably like, where's Mario at? He went to go piss inside Franklin Center. All right, we don't need him. So, it was usually 3-on-3 or whatever it was. We're playing ball. Big Country's playing. He's playing against another big guy. And these guys are just like dinosaurs. Boom, 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 just rhinoceros, boom, downstairs and just laying it up. Or sometimes Big Country just like one pump, wham, we bring the rim down. I'm like, that rim don't even break away, and he was tearing it up. I mean, I don't know how many times Franklin Center had to replace that rim because Big Country would tear it down, And they're playing. It got physical, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, these towers are getting ready to go at it," and they're going at it. They're jawing, and it wasn't Big Country. It was the other guy said, "Really, you want to go?" And he just started running, and he called one of his boys that was sitting on the bench watching. He said, "Let's go. Hand it to me." And the dude had a high top, a flat top. He had a gun. He had a 9 sitting in his hair. So he had the high top, and it was in his hair. Nobody knew it until he just went, whoop. He took it out, threw it over, and then Big Country's like, we scattered like roaches. Whew, everybody just took off. I ran home. I mean, everybody did. A gun just ended up right there, and we're like, and we didn't hear any firing, but I mean, it got crazy. And what's crazy about that story is I was like, man, I would tell the story. Nobody knew. Finally, an uncle of mine, younger, my Uncle Manny, he brought that story up to me. He says, hey, nephew, remember that day when you were playing ball and that guy pulled out a gun out of his hair? I was like, no, you remember that? I said, and all this time I thought I was making this up for a while. I was telling the story. And he goes, no, I remember that. He goes, yeah, that dude just pulled out a gun, because he was getting physical on and those are out of his hair. And those are just the kind of stories that, these playgrounds had, and it never was fired off.
These kids couldn't handle it.
Right.
to this day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you guys ever play against Big Country?
yeah, Big Country was old school.
Yeah, he was old school.
He was straight old school basketball, back you down,
Right.
use that finesse, and
And he was smooth for as big as he was, right?
It was not a fast game.
Right.
It was slow game. And that's why we call him old school, because he was use that big body
Yeah.
and that weight, and he'll fall you and make you fall asleep. He's scoring on you. I mean,
And dude,
it was textbook.
And that's why I said I love playing with him, because wham, I just feed him a no look, bam, he get it, boom, good pass.
He also
Let's
played
go.
out at KCK where I played, and
Okay.
he would help me.
Yeah.
He would come back, practice with us.
He did play it.
He played at KCK Community College. I actually played there.
Okay.
I came back. I went down to Cali. Then I came back and went to KCK.
Okay.
Moms was like, "Hey, I need some help with your brothers and sisters," because she worked nights. And I said, "Well, okay, I got to drop this. I got to drop and come back home and help. Help." So when I say again, that was a hub for all the guys that wanted to play in the Wyandotte area. They would come up to KCK, and we would play against each other too. And Dan Pratt, one of the craziest coaches I've ever encountered in my life. He was like a Bobby Knight. He would throw the chair.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Break
He
the
was-
clipboard, throw the chair.
Oh yeah. But back to country.
Yeah.
He was also a teacher.
Ah.
He taught the younger guy, which was us.
Yeah.
Because also his brother played for Harmon with us.
Yes, Derek. Yeah.
So he taught us.
Was he Little Country?
Yes. Yes.
Derek was nowhere near his brother's skill level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big Country was
Big-
country.
Big Country
Derek
he used to yell at Derek. He used to get on the Derek.
Derek was nowhere near putting the money in the basket like his brother was. His brother was solid.
I thought he was talking about size. Girth,
Yeah.
Little country.
Hell yeah.
But on a note that, when I got up to KCK, he was a great mentor. I mean, I actually held a scoring record for a second because of him. He was good.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. He was a mentor, and he was a great guy.
Yeah, he was. He was cool. He was. I was afraid of him, but he was cool. So, hey, okay, real quick, Marlon. And I know I got to bring this guy up because he was another guy that I recruited back with Reggie Jones.
Oh yeah.
Remember Reggie Jones?
Derek went to Wanda.
Yeah.
That could jump
Derek's.
out the gym.
The other Derek. Yeah.
That ran cross country.
Yes. And he played pro football.
He played football for
And ran
the.
track.
He played for the Chargers.
He played for the Chargers. And he was
And
on
the
the
Chiefs.
Chiefs practice squad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That motherfucker could jump out the gym.
Yes, and he played for us as well. I think right after you had stopped playing with us, I don't know if you guys got the chance, but finally I was like, I just called him up and I said, "Hey, you still playing ball? Yeah, okay. You know what? Why don't you come play?" And he was another phenom. That guy was good
Solid.
to the and I mean, and people would come to the gym to watch Reggie.
Yeah.
I remember we played, and Winston and Benny can vouch for this one. I remember my junior year, their senior year. We played at Harmon. We played Wyandotte. JoJo Jones shot a jump shot. The ball came off the back of the rim. Reggie came right down the middle, caught that bitch with two hands, cocked it back, and dunked on Winston and Benny for jumping. And I was like, oh, shit, this man's grown. And it was like, because he was a high jumper.
Yes.
And he ran track. He did all that. So it was like, oh, shit. He came through the middle of the lane. The ball came off the back of the rim. He cocked that bitch with two hands and said, ah.
And he was still doing that in our late 30s, early 40s. He was still doing it.
Yes.
Because you played with us. Remember you played with us?
Yes.
You remember Big Dan?
Yes.
We play up at the Dome?
Yeah. At the when I broke my fucking ankle on that plastic ass floor.
Yeah. We used to play up at the Dome and it was fun playing. And when we had, Marlon and Big Dan down low and they would say, "Hey, we grab a rebound, take off."
Yeah. Just
And
let it go.
I would have like 15, 20 points because these guys would just throw me footballs like I was a receiver. I'd catch it 2 steps, I'd lay it in. We used to run that.
We ran
up
that
at the
league up there too. Got kicked out that motherfucker too. We got kicked out of there. We got kicked out of Guadalupe.
Yeah.
We got kicked out of the parish house. I think the 3 leagues I played with Mario in, the 2 years on each league that we won, we got kicked out of.
You know,
we got kicked out the motherfuckers because they was saying, because we went undefeated. And it was like, it was a wrap. Nobody couldn't fuck with us.
Yeah.
It was a done deal.
Those are fun times, man.
Ralphie was like, shit, Ralphie sat over there. He really didn't have to coach because shit, we was blowing everybody out.
Yeah, he didn't have to coach. He would just pay for our entry fee and here's the uniforms and you guys go play and make my name look good.
I'll tell you another place that we haven't mentioned.
What's that?
That was awesome. And they brought everybody from Wyandotte together, Missouri and Kansas, was the Bell Rec Center.
That's where the one right there by KU Med, right?
Yes.
Where
Right,
they cut it
and-
off.
yes.
They moved it. It's the summer league.
Yeah.
Summer
I remember that league.
It brought a lot of talent here.
Yep. And that's where Danny Manning would play and
Yeah.
Chris Piper and all the
the
KU
KU
ball.
people,
Yeah,
all the Missouri people.
And
yeah.
Patrick Ritchie.
I actually got a
Patrick,
chance to play with them
Did you?
because Stephen Woodbury had married my cousin.
Oh wow.
And
I've never heard
he
that
had
name in a long time.
Stephen
That
Woodbury
motherfucker
asked
the one
me.
knocked us out of sub-state.
Yeah.
When we went to
When we went
us out of state. When we
Wichita
knocked us
State.
out.
Yeah. So when later on,
I got that picture in the car.
later on, he actually, hey man, what's up? Man, I heard you wanted to play, and I'm like, ooh, okay. So I get to play with this. So
That's cool.
Bell was. I mean, you had
Bell,
Anthony
yeah.
Peeler, you had
Yes.
Chris Lindsey, you had Javon Crudup, you had
Hey.
I mean, you had Ray Smith. You had there was so many. You Derek Hood. You had that was just the Missouri side. I'm getting excited. I might go dunk tonight. No, but no.
Donuts, let's go. I'll meet you at Dunkin' Donuts.
That motherfucking talent right there. I remember playing against Javon Crudup and Chris Langley my first year being at Harmon. We played in the KCK tournament.
Yeah.
We played Ray Sal. That motherfucker turned around, drop step, dunked on me and said, "Welcome to the big leagues, rookie." I said, "God damn, this shit is different."
Oh man, gentlemen, this has been good. Yeah. This is what I envisioned. This is what I wanted to hear. I'm glad you guys both came in. I'm sure we got a lot more stories. But seriously, before we end, if we can get the fellas in, I would love to see Benny and Winston, and whoever else we could bring in. Otis, I don't care. If we can get all the guys together, I know that's going to be hard though. But I mean.
There's different ways around it. What we can do is we can do virtual calls as well.
We could do virtual calls, and we don't even have to do it here. If we got a staff that we can. If I say, you know what, meet me in my house is a center point, right? Boom, we can meet in my house. We can figure something out.
Otis is right now not too far from here because he
Yeah.
has hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, Winston's not too far from
Because
here.
because the class of '89, our group, we usually meet. Well, I can't say I usually. I've done it maybe once or twice, but we'll meet up at the on Neiman and Shawnee Mission Parkway, the Poorhouse.
Okay.
There's a bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Poorhouse. Yeah, and once in a while they'll call us and say, "Hey, let's meet up there." And that's where Last time I heard Damon Conway had said, "Yeah, I think."
Oh,
Damon. John Ross. He had met up with me at Harmon. When we set up at Harmon and we did I was really hoping to see you guys there. I know it's kind of tough, but that would have been cool.
Well,
because some of these stories probably would have came out, there.
Sure.
But they didn't do this. I just look at that situation on a short note for what we did for that school and how they did us in that trophy case.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff is back out though.
I got like 2 of the pictures that was thrown in the trash can
No.
that the janitor that was there when we was in school gave to me.
Who's
When we first
the
won-
janitor?
I can't think of his name, little short white guy.
Oh, okay.
I got the trophy when we won sub-state.
Are you really?
Yes, I got the picture of us when we held sub-state up in there when we beat South in our gym.
Yeah.
I got that. They threw it in the trash can.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's like the recognition with Mr. Martin.
Oh, man. That's sad.
Disrespectful.
Very, very. If you listen to the episode that I did at Harmon, there was an older gentleman that came in and he re-put everything back up because he said this was wrong, that this was done like this. I want everything back up. And he started putting trophies up. He made banners. I mean, the school looks different in there. If you guys go in there, seriously, I don't know if you want to give that up now. They disrespected you guys like that. But man,
and that's when we went back to go get Mr. Martin inducted. Remember, they had taken everything out.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a meeting up in the library room,
because they stopped the Hall of Fame thing.
Yeah.
When Mr. Martin got inducted, nobody else has been put in there. But
was that the same year that Dirks was put in?
Dirks got put in.
And Harama Dickerson?
And that was it. And I look at that as a slap in the face just because the simple fact is I was third in scoring. And I didn't get my recognition. So being third in scoring and second in 3-pointers behind Dirks. So you have not had nobody else inducted in our situation after that.
You know what? Let's
start a committee.
No, you know what? No. We're gonna take care of that.
Well,
man.
And I
take
look
care
at
of you
that,
guys. You guys deserve to be
because the legacy. You look, okay. We was the first one out of 20 years to go to state. Then when Gonzo came aboard and was the coach, they did it another 20 years when they finally went back.
Yeah.
We should have been recognized before they
them. Yes, I agree.
Because we was the one when we had the Detroit Pistons scoreboard up in the ceiling.
That was dope.
Yeah. That was original.
Yeah,
we did
we
not.
We had the nice small scoreboard right in
the
where you
middle
could
of the
see
floor.
on any side. Wow. It was dope.
And we did not use scoreboards from the corner to where they use it now. We had the Detroit Pistons scoreboard. We had the Octagon scoreboard. We was considered as the Palace.
Wow.
That was cool.
And also the banners. How can you take away?
Oh, the banners where they would put the names?
Yes. The banners, and we had our state.
All
4 years.
Yes.
Where are those at? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We were the first to do it.
90, my year was the first. Then they went back. They followed up and went back to state. We took second. And because we lost to
the McKinson brothers.
They went to K-State. One went to K-State.
And then the other one went to Wisconsin.
Yes.
That's a McKinson.
Yes, we lost to them. And
they went on to the NBA.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were pure shooters, 3-point shooters.
One went to the Atlanta Hawks, and another one went somewhere else.
That's when everybody was there. Roy, Norm, Stewart, everybody.
Dang.
We were in Topeka at
the Expo Center.
Expo Center.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody was there.
Lost the motherfucking state championship in 50 seconds.
Dang.
First school ever to do that. Up by 5, lost in 50 seconds.
Dang.
Went into overtime, lost by 5.
Dang.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I hate to end on that note, man.
Hey.
You know,
I end on a note saying I'm blessed.
Yes.
And Mario, did you ever get a chance to touch the ring that we got?
You know what? And I was going to ask you. I saw it on your hand, and I was going to ask you. This is cool, man. So you got you a ring too.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope, right?
I should have ordered mine because I was part of the track team that won
That's right.
state.
That same year, the boys won basketball.
I
They
thought
won.
about it, but I was like,
That's pretty cool. That's dope, man.
It was a big
Congrats
year
on
for
that.
North. 2016 was a huge year for North.
Of course, and as hard
Yeah, now
and
the Bison now.
as hard as we tried to recruit Stu's boy, to come play with the boys, but it's all good though.
A lot of trauma back then.
Yeah, I know.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We tried it.
All right. I appreciate you guys coming in. We'll do a real quick round. I like to end with favorites.
Okay.
I like to ask my guests what favorites. So, what's your favorite restaurant? Go ahead, Kerr. Do you have one? Stu, if you have one, go ahead.
My favorite restaurant.
There's got to be that one where you're like, all right, I gotta go. Jam.
It's that shop by the auto
Longhorn.
Oh.
Longhorn Steakhouse.
Shit, I don't fuck around with the kids. I do that Raising Cane.
Raising Cane's. There you go. All right. Favorite.
Stay young.
There you go. Favorite shoe.
Come on,
Brand?
now. The guy already know.
Go
I mess with them Nike things.
Nike.
I got to go with Nike.
Okay.
One of the things, like I said, never had the opportunity to buy my own shoe. Harmon was the first time I had a pair of Nikes.
Really?
Yeah, remember we our junior senior year they brought we were wearing Nikes.
Nice.
Yeah, Nikes.
I wore the Jordan 4s in my senior year. The retro blue North Carolinas, baby, in my picture.
That's crazy. Yeah. Favorite NBA team, Stu?
1 or 2?
I usually give people a hard time when they have 2 or more, or 1 or more.
So for me, because I loved the Bulls back in the day. Okay. But I also have to say I love the Atlanta Hawks because I love Dominique Wilkins and what he brought to the game against Jordan. Yep. And a lot of people missed that.
Yeah. So, he used to fly. Yeah. I had the opportunity to see him downtown. They had a hoop fest. I was
in it.
Were you?
I was in the dunk contest.
What? Oh, shit. You know what? Maybe I do remember seeing you there. Yeah.
Real quick, I got to meet him. Ramel Robinson, who was the point guard back then, was there too. Okay. And he brought the Atlanta Hawk cheerleaders. So when I was there with Joe Rainey, remember Joe Rainey jumped over 7 people, and I jumped over a dude in a wheelchair and did a 360.
Shit, I remember that, Stu. I remember because my cousin Stevie Garcia. Yep, I remember because he was like, "Yeah, there's Darryl. Yeah, there. Okay, I remember that now." Shit, that's crazy. See, this is what I like about this podcast because a lot of stuff like this comes up. Mm-hmm. I remember that. Yeah,
yeah.
And my cousin Stevie, huge Dominique Wilkins fan. Because he and I used to go back, because I'm a huge Patrick Ewing fan. Mm-hmm. Ewing, Georgetown, New York Knicks. To this day, I'm still a New York Knicks fan, even though they suck. Mm-hmm. You know, they haven't played well in a while since Jeremy Lin lit up since Jeremy Lin lit up the world, right? You remember that? Lit Sanity. Yeah, check it out on Netflix. It's pretty dope.
You jumped over a guy in a wheelchair?
Yeah. And the guy is actually a barber. On the Missouri side.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Coach Kerr, Lakers.
Come on now. You already know that part. I go. I'm that Mamba mentality.
There you go.
Sticks with Kobe.
Music genre. What's your favorite?
I'm a Tupac guy.
So you hip hop, rap.
Hip hop,
Tupac all day. Stu?
Rap.
Yep.
That's what gets me through rap and gospel.
So, okay. Favorite song? You got to have that song where you're like, you're having a bad day. Boom. I'm listening to it.
Me Against the World.
Oh, yeah?
Tupac. Me Against the World.
I hear you.
Well, for me, I can't pick one. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
Is music.
Yeah. Same here.
Same here. So it depends on where I was at life.
Right.
So it's just too many experiences. Yep. So I can't just say one.
I hear you. I use music for history, for memories. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I do. I have a lot of songs I remember a lot through music.
Yeah.
Music is my thing. Yeah. Cool. Last but not least, favorite movie of all time. There's got to be that one
Above the Rim.
Above the Rim?
Oh.
Another Tupac.
Yes, sir.
Stu? If it's Grease, say it, man.
No.
I like Grease. I love Grease.
I would say, wow. You got me thinking. There's so many of them.
Right.
Oh, well.
But, there's that. There always that one you turn the TV
Scarface.
on. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, that's another one. You turn on the TV, Scarface is on, no matter where.
I'm going to cheat and go back, though. I'm going to go that Fist to Save Pittsburgh with Julius Erving,
baby. Yeah, the Fist to Save Pittsburgh.
That Moses Guthrie.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Nice. I appreciate you guys coming in.
Hey, no problem,
again, we can do this again, later on down the road.
Mm-hmm. Get the rest of the team.
We're Jordan fans back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
You know what makes this episode even special? It's number 23.
24 too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 24 too. That's the next episode, but this episode right here is number 23.
23. Oh yeah. You can't never forget MJ.
I know.
Yeah.
As much as I'm not gonna say hate. As much as I dislike Jordan because he always ruined it for the Knicks.
Oh yeah,
all the
he
time.
made Pat look bad. Well, shit,
He did.
Scotty made Pat look bad.
They all
buddy.
did. Easy.
Yeah.
Let's not bring up the John Starks dunk, but
Okay,
that was dope, right?
But I mean,
I know, but it was still
number
up.
45, and
Right.
then came back
I know.
game business.
It's all. You know what?
That number 45 did different things too.
He did. It was the
He
same
went-
guy. It was the
Same
same
guy,
guy.
same guy,
Same
but
guy.
he just switched numbers. Said, "I'm gonna do it to you this way."
Yeah. Again,
It's
sweet.
been a blessing, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I speak on myself. I can't speak for Stu, but family always. Like you said, when you hit me up and told me we was gonna do this,
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be camera shy.
I know.
But I got my road dog
that's-
with
yeah,
me. When you
and
said
so-
my dog hit me and said, "Hey, I'm in," I said, "We all we got, baby. we there."
2 out of the Fab 5. We'll
Two
get
out
the
of them.
we'll bring the other guys
But
in.
what better, more, I look at it, me, him, I mean, you add wins, you add the rest of the pieces of the puzzle. Shit, that's a piece of pie right there.
We'll bring the starting 5 in.
No, seriously.
do that.
We can get it done.
Okay. I appreciate
We can
that.
get it done.
All right. Okay.
Otis might be taking a sub of somebody, but he'll be a
Right.
part of that
Yeah,
five.
that's fine. That's fine.
That's cool too, because he got memories too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what
And
this is.
he has a lot of tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he can tell you when he didn't get in. Hey, he was worried about getting in. He still couldn't get in. He was like, "Shit, the game over. Now I'm getting in." He can tell you them stories. He'll get them stories.
Let me say this before we go.
All right, we ended real
There
quick.
was one guy that did Mr. Martin's impressions. Amari Bush, Snoopy.
Yeah.
Man, that guy. If we can get him here, it's a wrap.
yeah.
He can imitate Mr. Martin.
To a T.
We.
See, I was glad I was able to bring up. Hey now.
Hey now,
Hey now.
You take that suit jacket.
Yeah. All right.
It's a blessing, man.
Right.
Thank you for having
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
Thanks.
definitely a blessing.
Shit,
From the
thanks,
bottom
man.
of my heart
I
to
know,
go
still.
back and still keep it real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll always be friends.
You know, me and you always talk that Run DMC shit. So
Yeah,
you know
man,
how
that's-
we
yeah.
rock. We rock.
And, you know, and
biggest
that-
shit I seen you.
Yeah, and that's I tell all these KU fans. I said that's the reason why you guys won the national championship, because Run DMC performed at Night of the Fog. I said they performed that night, and that's what brought you guys the hype.
As long as they don't let Kanye do this shit.
I know, right?
All right, we all we got.
Thank you so much, guys.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Peace out.